No Miller? Huh, no problem.
You are Locked On A's, your daily Oakland A's podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, A's fans, and welcome to Locked On A's, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about your Oakland A's all year long on this whoa, didn't mean to hit that. We're doing it live today. We're doing Bill O'Reilly style. We're doing it live. Yep, hit the wrong button there. So yeah, that's kind of appropriate as we're going to be covering the A's all season long in their final season. Maybe their final season, the way that they have no plan at all moving forward after this year. My name is Paul Francis Sullivan. I'm your host. Please call me Sully. And today's episode is brought to you by Booking.com, or as I like to say, Booking.yeah, the right place, the right hotel, the right place to stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, including that of your rival. Check out Booking.com, either online or on the app. We're going to be talking a little bit today about the A's win in Anaheim, Mason Miller's injury, which stinks, and I may refer to this. This is the development agreement by and between Clark County Stadium Authority and Athletic Stadeco LLC. This is a public agreement. It's listed publicly about the process of what's going on between the A's and state of Nevada, Clark County, Nevada, and Las Vegas. And there's one specific thing in there that, holy cats, it just keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. But hey, and also check out the River Cats. Check out your Sacramento River Cats, who will be sharing a stadium with the Oakland A's. Well, let's stay positive first, because we got the A's biggest superstar injuring himself and the entire team banking on something which is I consider to be a fraud. And I have no compunction saying that this is kind of a fraud what the A's are trying to do to finance the stadium. There is no financing in the stadium. They don't have the money. All right, it's a strange day in baseball, and we're going to be heading towards the trade deadline. By the way, the first real big trade has been fired across the bow with Randy Arozarena being traded to the Seattle Mariners. That's an interesting deal. Meanwhile, the A's and the Angels, two teams that are going nowhere in an awful hurry in terms of they're not going to be going anywhere in the playoffs. But if the A's win one more game, they're going to clinch a winning record for the month of July, which is great when you consider the months of May and June were so disastrous. Well, today looked like it was going to be one of those days. From the beginning, you had the home run by Rooker, made it a 2-0 game in the first, but then, it turned into a bit of a comedy of errors there. Logan Hoppe made it 2-1. Zach Neto hit the single that made it 2-2. Then the sac fly by Moniak. Remember Moniak? He was a number one overall pick at one point. He made it 3-2. And then Rendifo got the double. It was 5-2. And in the second inning, it's 5-2. And I'm thinking to myself, oh boy. There's 4-game series with the Angels. And you want to see them beat up the Angels. But at the same time, it's kind of like, all right, well, they won the series against Houston. They won the series against the Angels earlier last week. They won the series against Philadelphia. They won the previous series against the Angels. That you can't expect them to be just going on a rampage, right? Okay, Butler hits that home run and makes it 5-4. And then Daz Cameron in the fourth inning hit the home run to right center field. All right. I've been to Angels Stadium in Anaheim several times. It's an it's an adequate stadium. A's fans would be jumping up and down to have that as their stadium. It's an adequate baseball stadium, which is pretty old. That was the Big A from the 70s, was enclosed to accommodate the Rams and therefore make it a kind of an ugly stadium. Does that sound familiar to anyone here? That a stadium with a nice open front was enclosed and made to look ugly to appease a football team. I wonder where I heard about that kind of situation before. Well, the Rams skedaddled, and then instead of moving the team, they decided to just rebuild the stadium. And it's okay. It's lettuce. It's there. No one says, "Oh man, lettuce." No one goes, "Oh, great, a day at Angel Stadium." They've got that weird rock in center field. Looks like the Thunder Mountain Railroad. It's just a generic ballpark. If you were playing Hardball 2 from Accolade, the video game, and you had to set the ballpark, that would be the default ballpark. But for years and years, in order to hit a home run to right field, you had to hit it into the stands in right field. When you saw some like, Darren Erstad or Garrett Anderson, when they were playing great ball in the early 2000s, winning the World Series that the A's should have won in 2002. Don't tell that to my late father, who was a huge Giants fan. But now they've got a yellow line, and if you hit it above the yellow line off the scoreboard, that's a home run. That sucks. The Daz Cameron fly ball off the wall it should be a double. It should go into the stands to be a home run instead of over this line, this arbitrary line. I mean, look I'm happy Daz Cameron hit a go-ahead home run. Don't get me wrong, but it still didn't feel like a home run. I don't know. It didn't have that satisfaction of the ball landing in the stands. Anyway, I know that's nitpicky, but I've always hated that. So now past this line, have it land in the stands. Can we have that? Can we have that in life? But all right. But the A's, I give them credit. They let Stripling, who did pitch, got clubbed around in the second inning, but they kept him in there, and he pitched into the sixth inning. I like it when a manager lets a starting pitcher just extend a little bit. Keep going. Let's see how long he can go. And eventually, he needed Alexander to bail him out. Adams pitched well. Ursig pitched great. And then Ferguson came out to try to get his first major league save. And he did the job. He struck out two batters, got a fly ball to left field, and boom, A's win game one of the series. When you go on the road, when you're in someone's home, and you can win a series there, that's great. This is a 4-game series with Anaheim. So expecting to take 3 out of 4 from anybody. I don't care if you're playing, the Cub Scouts, which when the Brewers wear those uniforms, they do look like the Cub Scouts, but I digress. You can't expect to take 3 out of 4 from anybody. But if you can split a 4-game series with the Anaheim Angels, then look, all they got to do is win one more game. Now, obviously, if they win on Friday, they're going to be drooling to try to win the freaking series. By the way, the Angels wore their throwback uniforms, the ones that, Rod Carew and Fred Lynn and Don Baylor and Mike Witt and Bobby Grich and Doug DeSenses all wore in the 1970s and the 1980s. Those are sweet-looking uniforms. I like those uniforms. I like it with the Angels with a lowercase NGLES and Angels, and the dark hat with the red brim. I wish they had. I don't mind their normal uniform with the red hats and everything like that. The best uniform, the best hat they ever had, in my humble opinion, was the one that had the CA on it for California, but they dropped California from their name stupidly. They should bring it back. But those hats they wear them on the road at least. Can you wear them on the road? Those are sweet Angels hats. Wear the red hats at home and the dark blue ones on the road. Can you do that for me? Can you do that for your pal Sully? Well, They won the game. Hey, we're doing a live stream. We see a couple of people in the chat, and where is Jesus says, where's Danny Jimenez as a closer? I don't know. You're going to complain? Seriously, Jesus? Hey, Zeus, you're making me call out your namesake here. You're going to complain? Ferguson did a good job. What do you want? What else do you want the guy to do? He got the out, and he struck out the two batters. Well, for those of you who may be a little bit slow with your reading the latest news, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about how our all-star closer might be a bit of a dumbbell. Hey, let's hear a little bit from our good friends over at Supply House. Now, this is the site that is made for skilled trades. That's where you get your supplies, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is a reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trade can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free TradeMaster program. Every TradeMaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. That place again is supplyhouse.com. Hey, let me tell you something. This weekend, my cousin's coming into town. And I am looking forward to seeing my cousin. He's a big sports fan. A's are out of town, so we're going to go see the Giants. And I am going to use, to get the tickets, we're going to use Game Time. Because Game Time, in case you don't know it, is an authorized ticket marketplace for Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster, easier. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals and all-in prices and views from your seat and the lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying baseball tickets. I know where I like to sit when I go to Oracle Park. I sit by an home plate, second deck, a little bit up the first base line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a zone deal. That's the section I want to go, and I'm going to let Game Time choose the seats. Then I get a seat view. You get a panoramic view from the seat in the app before you buy. And I get great ticket coverage. My purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. Take the guesswork out of buying baseball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, the lowest prices. Do you know what they are? I'll tell you what they are. They're guaranteed. Hey, where is your hub for all of your sports news, your sports action, your sports takes? Make the switch to Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel program to bring you the biggest sports stories of the day. Locked On Sports Today brings you canvas analysis, opinions, and news streaming 24/7 on YouTube, on the free Amazon Fire TV channel app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. All right, so the A's are going to be without Mason Miller for a couple of weeks. Now, what this does is it ends any speculation that Mason Miller is going to be traded. So if he comes back, if this is just sort of like kind of precautionary 2-week stint for Mason Miller, boom, we're going to have Miller time for the rest of the year. He has a fracture on the 5th metacarpal pinky. It's a fancy word for pinky. The pinky. There should be what's the Latin for pinky? Latin for pinky is metacarpal. on his left hand, not his right hand, his left hand. So good for that. Good for that. It's not his right hand we have to deal with. There was a little bit of back and forth of what caused the industry. I'm just reading this is from the MLB.com report. I'm gonna read from it. It says Mark Kotz, I clarified the specifics. The non-pitching injury occurred when Miller pounded a padded trading table out of frustration, following a win over the Astros. I don't know what's going on there. The truth is, post-game, this is again from the same article. Mason came in the training room. He was going through his recovery. He was reminded that he had a post-game lift to get in, and out of frustration, he pounded his fist down. Does that mean lifting weights? I've done weightlifting a little bit, and I know sometimes it's a pain in the ass, but really? You do a post-game lift? Dang it. Break your pinky. Just maybe give him the night off. He pitched. He's one of the only, he's one of the best closers in baseball. He's going to be reevaluated. He can't wear or squeeze a glove due to the injury. That's where it comes down to. So at least Mason Miller didn't hurt his pitching hand. I mean, what he did was dumb. If you are, look at Mason Miller's, I don't think he's a millionaire yet. I'm going to go to baseballreference.com, the single greatest website in the history of the planet Earth, and I'm going to look up his salary. But okay, now he's doing better than I am. I'm a public school teacher, and very few of us are millionaires. Now Mason Miller is 25 years old. He's a younger man than me, and he is going to make what? He's going to make $740,000 this year. Good work if you can get it. He's probably getting a big, healthy raise, and pretty soon he is going to be what we like to call in the industry a millionaire. Don't hurt your right hand or your right arm. You do this well, you don't have to worry about money the rest of your life. Neither do your kids. Your grandkids can go to law school on you. So if you got a lift going on, just go shucks. Because the next couple of weeks, they're going to have to turn to somebody else. Now, Ferguson did a good job once. Danny Jimenez could do the job well too. But they had a absolute write it with a Sharpie save whenever Mason Miller comes out there. And there you go. There you go. The rookie of the year, the guy who's probably going to win the rookie of the year in the American League. He has 70 strikeouts and 40 2/3 innings. And he has thrown 306 pitches. This is according to MLB.com, over 100 miles an hour. And he went, dang it, and hit his hand because he didn't want to lift weights. It's an important thing to remember. These baseball players who we all know and love are where they are because of their ability to do something physical, not because these are Rhodes Scholars. So get well, Mr. Miller. And let me remind you, do not do things that hurt the hand that will make you a millionaire many times over. That's a tip from your pal, Sully. This episode of Locked On A's is brought to you by Booking.com or Booking.yeah. I went on a fabulous baseball trip earlier this year. I went to Buffalo. Buffalo, New York, by the way, is a beautiful, beautiful city. I went to Syracuse. I saw the Syracuse Mets play. Then I drove all the way to Cooperstown and spent 2 glorious days at the Baseball Hall of Fame. And no matter where I went to a hotel through Booking.com. I had a fantastic hotel in downtown Buffalo, nice old-fashioned hotel, a nice safe hotel near the campus at Syracuse, and then over to Cooperstown, where I was in an inn where I was walking distance from the lake and the Hall of Fame. Everywhere I went to was through Booking.com, and let me tell you something, everywhere I went, it made my stay just a little bit better. Book today on Booking.com or on the site in the Booking.com app. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals. Booking.com. Use it now. And you can call it Booking.com. But me? Who are we kidding? It's Booking.yeah. All right, let's hear from our friends over at Prize Picks. Now, you probably know what Prize Picks is, but I'll tell you right now. Prize Picks is America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. Prize Picks is the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps, on Prize Picks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get in on the daily action with your friends and become part of the Prize Picks community today. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. And Prize Picks is available in more than 30 states across the country, including California, Texas, and Georgia. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks. Pick more. Pick less. In the end, it really is that easy. This is a reminder that Locked On has created the first ever national sports streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's available on the Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channel app. Locked On Sports Day is here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today now available on the free Fire TV channel app. I held this up earlier. There it is right there. Where is it? There it is. The development agreement by and between Clark County Stadium Authority and Athletic Stadco LLC. Dated, there's no official date on it. It's boring. A lot of it's legalese that I don't quite understand. I've read some articles from people who are critical of the A's and people who are not critical of the A's regarding it, especially those from Clark County in Nevada, who are hoping the A's thing works out well, and other sources as well. I'm just trying to make heads or tails out of it. And this is something that caught my eye and caught a couple other people's eye in section 3.2, payment. Now, this is all about the A's plan, and I will always use plan loosely here, to build a stadium in Vegas. This is the thing that made me pause a little bit. Section 3.2, payment of project costs. Generally, project costs will be paid with or otherwise reimbursing using the sources of funds listed in subsections A, B, and C of this section, blah, 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 blah. Okay. A is $380 million. That's the public money that they're going to get. B is personal seat licensing sales, and C is basically the Fishers saying, yeah, we've got the money. Now, one of the articles I read was focusing on how vague the Fisher contribution for the rest of it to fill the gap that is not paid for by the $380 million of taxpayer revenue and the personal seat licensing. That it's basically, yeah, we got it. And how perilous that is to trust the Fishers, who have not exactly been forthright. But I have a different problem with it than some of the analysis I've read. Personal seat licenses. The selling of personal seat licenses is going to be a major factor in the funding of this. You've got 380 million pigs raised from the state of Nevada or Clark County, wherever they've raised the taxes. Then you have the delta. Then you have the money that the fishers are going to kick in. And then you have the selling. That's listed as B, the personal seat license sales. First of all, I personally think personal seat licenses are a scam. I think they were created by really clever sports minds in the 1980s who took the attitude of, how can we milk a little more money out of fans? Oh, I have an idea. We will sell licenses for the seats for you to be a season ticket holder. It's not becoming a season ticket holder. It's having the right to be a season ticket holder. It's the equivalent of saying, I'm going to a restaurant and I'm paying for the seat, the table, and the menu, but not the food. I'm paying for the right to sit at the table and order food. And this is supposed to make it, if you have the license, you can transfer to other people, you can hold on to it, but it gives you the crack at buying the season tickets and having it and holding it. There's really, it's insane that this got past step one of people sniffing a fraud, or is people sniffing a ridiculous creation. And it's a way to just milk more money. And it was actually founded not too far from where I'm sitting right now at Stanford, and as a way to raise money for the tennis center. But some professional teams started to see, hey, this is a way to gain revenue and maybe to help fund other stadiums. But mainly, it's a way to just milk more money from the fans. You want a season ticket? Well, first you gotta get a license for the season ticket. Now, stop and think about this for a second. Other than the fact that these are the work of a con artist and scams, and at its best, personal seat licenses are shady. Think about the team that is selling them. If you wanted to tell me that a franchise that is always selling out and has deep roots with their fans want to sell personal seat licenses as a way to squeeze a little money out of them, but it's also a way for those fans to make sure, oh, I know I'm always going to have my season tickets no matter what. If you're the Red Sox, the Cardinals, the Cubs, the Yankees, the Mets, the Phillies, teams that have deep-rooted fan bases who draw very well. If you want to tell me, like for a football team that has a strong following, whether it's the Packers or the Bears or the New York Giants or the Denver Broncos, would find a way to milk their fans. Like, so, well, I got to have my season ticket. Or if you're a Lakers in Los Angeles or the Canadians in Montreal or these college football teams that have such intense, passionate fans like Alabama football or University of Florida football or Duke basketball or UNC basketball, or UConn or whatever. If you want to tell me that that's the type of team you're dealing with, I might start to listen. I still think it's shady. I still think it's a fraud. But this is a franchise that has had trouble filling seats, whether they were in Philadelphia, Kansas City, or Oakland. I love watching the A's, and I've loved watching the A's for years. It's never that hard to get a ticket. If you're worried, oh boy, I hope I get my license to ensure that I got an A's ticket, you're okay. You're good. You're good. If you want to be a season ticket holder, fine. But to have the license to become a season ticket holder is ridiculous. It's a fraudulent piece of shadiness, even if we are talking about Ohio State football or the Yankees or the Red Sox. But for a team that has trouble selling out playoff games, For a team that had trouble drawing the years they won the World Series, for a team that couldn't draw in Philadelphia, Kansas City, or Oakland, and is not going to draw in Sacramento, to come into Vegas, a city where they have no roots. There's no lifelong A's. Okay, maybe you'll meet one or two lifelong A's fans, but the attendance is going to be terrible. It's going to be awful, especially if they bring a terrible team into Las Vegas. So you think it's going to be tough to get tickets? This thing is basing part of its financing on people who are saying, oh, gosh, golly, I need to have a license to get an A's ticket. Now, if you want to go to Game Time, and buy a ticket, then be my guest. And Game Time, by the way, is a official MLB ticket market, and you can download the Game Time app today and use the code LOCKEDON-MLB for $20 off. Snuck that back in there. But I guarantee you go to Game Time and you put in the A's, it's going to say, yeah, where do you want to sit? Your zone seats are the stadium. All right? I love the fans who go to A's games, but they have a hard time outdrawing Dayton. The Dayton Dragons minor league team is outdrawing the A's right now. I have a feeling they don't have to get personal seat licenses in Dayton. It's a fraud. It's a scam. It's freaking Bitcoin is what it is. Selling personal seat licenses, but you're now selling, you're scalping tickets to a product where there's plenty of empty seats. So basically what it's saying is they've got $380 million from the county. All that money they're going to get from personal seat licenses. And then the Fishers are going to cover the rest with the section about them basically says, yeah, they got it. Don't worry, they got it. Why would the Fishers lie? Every time I think this can't get worse, someone grabs a shovel and keeps digging deeper. So do you want to pay for, and look at, I'm assuming if you're watching the show, you love the A's. Would you pay for a license to give you the permission to buy a ticket that you can probably buy day of game? Does that seem smart to you? There's no plan. There's no plan. I don't want them to move to Vegas, okay? But I also don't want to see them die on the vine. It's not good. I'm a baseball fan first. And I don't want to see the A's franchise fall apart. If they go to Vegas, I want them to be a success. If they stay in Sacramento, I want them to be a success. If they move to Portland or whatever, I want them to be a success because it's good for baseball. But it's not going to be a success if they stay in an open-air ballpark in Sacramento, and they're not going to be a success in Las Vegas if they have no plan. So there you go. It's going to be a disaster. The Fishers are idiots. Sell. So there you go. Follow us at Locked On A's on Twitter or whatever it's called now. On Instagram, I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. Happy the A's won. Wish they had their closer and wish they had a clue. This has been Locked On A's. I am your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully.